to the cloud.
Hi, friends. It's Kelly and Yvette here, and we are hopping on today to talk to you about July and kind of wrap it up. So, in July, we've been talking about sailing towards your dreams. We've had two journal prompts, and we hope that you had some time to sit down and reflect and think about it, maybe do some journaling. And we're just going to chat about it today and see what we wrote down, really.
Or if we had time to write
It's been
down.
a crazy busy month, right? It's been a crazy month.
Yeah.
We're both getting ready for kids to go off to college. We've both been doing the orientations and the preps and all that
And
stuff. But in the
traveling.
midst of,
Yes.
and traveling, lots of traveling. But in the
Yeah.
midst of that, also thinking about like, what are our dreams as we become empty nesting moms, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think everyone needs to maybe take a moment for themselves and kind of maybe have a conversation of, are you even dreaming? Are you even allowing yourself to have a dream or to dream about other opportunities or things that you may want to pursue or do or be? And that was something that kind of hit me because I think in our lives we're about to go through this very big change and transition. Are we allowing ourselves to think beyond that? Like we're helping our kids become, independent and adults moving on in their lives, but are we allowing ourselves to do the same? Because big
Yeah, and I
changes are
think oftentimes
stress.
Yeah, I think oftentimes we get caught up in that day to day and just, okay, this is what I have to get done today. This is what I have to get done the next day. And instead of just being in survival mode like that, taking the time, even if it's just a few minutes, to go, where do I want to be? And what are some steps that I can take today to get there?
Right.
So
And are we
I
allowing ourselves to take those steps? That's another thing.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So I was taking a class and this it actually just popped into my head again. And it was so fantastic because he was talking about your dreams. And often we think about I'm at point A and I want to get to point B. And how do I get there? And it seems so overwhelming. So instead, imagining ourselves at point B and then saying, okay, if I look back in time, what was the first step I took to get here? And I loved that because it breaks it down and it says, it gives us the confidence that I will get there. I'm already there. What was the first step I took?
I love
And so
that.
I really like that really resonated with me.
Yes.
Um, and I thought that is so I've been trying to think about it a little differently as to instead of like,
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Definitely. Because then you're not putting all that pressure on yourselves to, you know, have to. It's that have to
mhm,
that I think sometimes we
yeah,
get caught up in. And instead, like envisioning yourself. I love that
yeah,
because when you envision yourself there, then it's like, okay, I know I'm gonna get there. I know I'm gonna
kind of
arrive.
embodying that
Right.
feeling of success.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. That is
So
awesome.
have you been taking time for yours? Like our first one was, have you checked in with yourself? Are you in survival mode or are you allowing yourself to dream bigger? So what did you feel like this month?
Yeah, I think, have I checked in with myself? I'm trying to. I'm trying to check
Mhm,
in with myself. I feel like I'm probably more in survival mode just because, it's starting to feel very overwhelming trying to get everything all prepared and
mhm.
get my child prepared for what is to
Yes.
come. So that I think I probably have not been good at putting myself at the forefront and have kind of put
Mhm,
my things aside for a moment. But I have been trying to make myself sort of sit down and take moments and say, okay, what what do I want to focus on going
mhm.
forward? Where am I at this very moment? Where do I want to be going forward? And I think it's really hard because there's so many emotions attached to that as well. So I almost feel like I'm not quite ready to like sit down with that. But at the same
That makes
time,
sense.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think I'm excited for that to come as well because I think there's so many opportunities that can be opened, and I just have
Hmm.
to take the step forward to do that. What
I
about
agree.
you?
I think I've been in survival a little bit too. Well, and I think it's a different stage, you know. I have one
Yeah.
that's been like back and forth this summer, coming in and out of the house.
Mhm.
And she just left again this morning, and then one getting ready for college. And the college stuff is piling up in my office, and the rooms are getting cleaned out. And so I think there is a lot of survival mode. And it is,
Mhm.
I have had to be very intentional about taking time to say, you know, what is it I'm looking forward to? Where is it that I want to be? And sometimes I think I get very overwhelmed by all of that, you know, and thinking, okay, but instead I've been trying to just take an image of where I want to be in a couple of years and just focus on that. And have that be like an inspiration to say, okay, today I'm going to do one little thing to get there, even if it's just a 5 minute thing. So trying to really, even if it's like 2 to 5 minutes a day, do something that helps me, even just sitting with that vision so I don't lose it, I guess. So that's
That
kind of where I've been with that.
I love that. And we've talked about this before. And I think, we both really want to focus on this and do this. And maybe we can sit down and take some time for ourselves to do that. But we have both said like we want to do somewhat like a vision board for
Hmm.
ourselves. And I think that is such an awesome idea because not just because vision boards are something that you do every year to kind of create the vision for yourself, but I also think it's a great way to daily check in with yourself. Like if you're looking at those vision boards, if you're looking at what you've put on there, you're sort of checking in with yourself daily to say, okay, where am I with this? How am I
Or
feeling
what's
with
one
it?
thing I can do? Yeah.
Right, right. Or what's one step I can take towards this vision? So I think
Yes.
that's such a great idea. I love that visual aspect of it because it's almost like a
Mhm.
daily check-in with yourself and kind of making
Yeah.
you
Instead
stop.
of getting lost in the to-do list.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yes.
getting lost in the
Yeah.
overwhelm, getting lost in the daily to-dos, and I have to do
Mhm.
this, I have to do that, I have to make sure, doctor's appointments and this and that, and it's just all over the board where you have something that's sort of like right there in your face and you have to look at it, sort of makes you stop and have to check in and say, "Oh yeah, I have
Yes.
this to look forward to."
Yeah, don't forget about that. Don't forget
Yeah,
about your dreams over there.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So I guess that kind of flows into like the second question, like what actions are you taking to move towards your dreams?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I'll show you. So I have this little box of vision board cards. I have this little box and I've been leaving it around my
Yeah.
desk. And when I get like in a point where I'm like, I'm just like unmotivated or something, I kind of flip through the cards and I pick out something and I'm just like, okay, that sticks out at me. Why does that stick out at me? To just kind of like jog my brain a little bit about where I want to go instead of getting stuck in that to-do list, I guess.
I think that's amazing. Again, it's so visual for you, and it's just like kind of
Mhm.
smack in the middle of your face. So you have to acknowledge it and you have to, really sit with it for a moment. So I think that's fabulous and something I probably need to do more of. But I think for me, it's like when I sit down at my computer,
Mhm.
terrible because I have all these tabs that are kind of open. So, but again, it's a visual thing because the
Mhm.
tabs that I have opened intentionally, and they are something that I want to look into more or have interest in, or that has caught my eye, and I keep saying like, oh, I need to look into this more, or I want to explore
Yeah.
this side of this. So I think that's kind of a visual thing too. So every time I like
Yeah.
open my computer, my tabs sort of pop up
You see
and
it.
I see it and it's sort of like that reminder of like, here I am. This is what you're interested in. This is what you want to do. So take a
Yeah.
look at me. And I think that's really good because it's hard. It's really, really hard
Mhm.
when you're just caught up in the daily chores, tasks, things that you have to do. Um, Even if you're at work all the time, you get into that work routine and
Then you come home
it's
and you're like, I'm done. I'm tired.
right. And when you come home, that's
Yeah.
really maybe not something you want to think about or can't have the
Right.
capacity to think about because you're just exhausted. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I think having a visual aspect or visual reminder is such a great thing to have. It just makes you stop.
Yes. And I think July is a good month to like do a check-in. Just like what did I in January when I set intentions or when I picked a word or when I did, whatever your January routine is, your new year,
Yeah.
check in with it. Like, have I been doing that? Have I learned anything from it? Have I been able to keep up with what I wanted to do? Can I restart now? Because I still have 6 months left in the year, or however many months we have
Exactly.
left. Um, and try to figure out like where do I land with this? Is it still something that I want? Did
Mhm.
my dreams change? Did my goal change? Did it, move somehow? Because I think we often like set something in January and then we're good
Uh,
through February and it gets busy and it falls off and maybe things change. Maybe, things have shifted and there's a different
yeah.
direction you want to go in.
And I also think there's something so amazing about allowing yourself to just be open. I feel like sometimes when we can be can open up ourselves and allow ourselves to take steps forward, we sometimes stumble upon things that we never thought of before or we
Mhm.
didn't even know existed or didn't think we could ever have the opportunity to do. And
Right.
I think that's just so amazing and fascinating to me because I feel like there's doors or opportunities that have opened to that I never even thought of or thought that was even
Right.
possible. And then I end up doing them. And it's just like, wow, this is so amazing and this is so great. And it may not be something that you dreamed of before or that popped into your head, but it's something that you just kind of stumble upon or
Mhm.
uh, bump into or whatever just comes into your path because you allowed yourself to be open to it. I think that's another thing.
Exactly. It's not necessarily matching the exact picture or dream you had in your
Right,
head, but it ends
right,
up being even better than what you
right,
thought it would be.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
I
mean,
agree.
it's scary. It is very scary to be open and vulnerable and to put yourself out there. But I feel like
Yes.
yes. But I feel like there's so many amazing things that can open up for you when you do that.
Mhm. Yeah,
Definitely.
and just take some time to dream. And as moms, I think sometimes it's hard because we put ourselves on the back burner. And I think you and I are at a very unique stage in
Yes.
motherhood where our nest is emptying and it's like, okay, now I've got this part of my life ahead of me. And what does it look like? And what do I want it to look like? But I think even as a mom with kids at home, it's
Mhm.
still really important to focus on your dreams too and to
Yeah.
take that few minutes a day instead of, oh, I'll get to it later. It'll happen when the kids leave. I know that I wish I had done more to think about
Mhm.
what I want when my kids were gone and taken more steps before now
Definitely.
to get
Definitely.
there,
Yeah.
So I think that and I think being able to have a friend to talk it out with and say, hey, I know this sounds crazy, but this is what I'm thinking. And someone to like check in with you and inspire you and motivate you and give you that, like, you can do this. Like, that's super important too, to have that connection and community to share your dreams with. Because I think sometimes we keep them inside because we're insecure and we're
Yeah.
nervous about them. And I think that inhibits us from taking any steps to get there too.
Oh my gosh, completely. Completely. A community of people around you is super important and so key for sure. Speaking of that, we have an online live conversation coming up on the 31st of July. So if you are interested in joining us, it is free to join. We will just be getting onto Zoom, opening it up to everyone to join us. And we'll just be talking and getting feedback, but also just sharing, what we have learned through this journey, and going over the journal prompts again, maybe answering any questions that anyone would have. So if you're interested, it is at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time and 8:30 Eastern
Eastern.
Standard Time.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yes, if you're interested, please join us. If you are on Instagram, please follow us at Teen Tops and Sweaters. Make sure you are hitting that subscribe button down below at the bottom because we are trying to drop some more videos here on YouTube as well. Kelly did an amazing stretch video. So if you are on our channel and you follow our channel, please make sure you check that out. Hopefully, I will be dropping a bar one here in a moment. And we also have a great TikTok channel that has just opened up and has been starting to catch on. So don't miss out on that. We always post some great movements and stretches and inspiration. But
And go
we are,
to our rep website and read the blog.
yes, don't forget about the blogs. Allie just dropped a really great one. And we try and get at least one per month from each of us if we can. Again, we've just been crazy busy with life, as I'm sure most of you have. But we are just still committed to Teen Tops and Sweaters and really sharing with all of you just this great community that we are building right here. So please join us, and we cannot wait to see you next time. Thank you for joining this conversation today, and we'll see you soon.
Hi, guys.